I often say, sometimes people say to me, how long do you need accommodations and interventions? I say 1 year after they've overcome it or reached their capacity. And I use the word reach capacity because as much as the majority are socially anxious, highly sensitive kids, there are individuals with SM that have Ys that are neurodivergence, ADHD, other learning challenges, neurodivergence, ASD. They have speech and language challenges, intellectually a bit impaired, have an intellectual disability. So there are these other Ys that get into the way that will prevent someone from being as neurotypical, as we call it, or as chatty and outgoing as somebody else can be. And so when you see those Ys, it's like, what is their capacity? And usually you look in the home environment and say, what can they do in the home environment? So for a child who is not able to handle open-ended, thought-provoking questions or can't follow a series of directions or whatever that it is, how are we going to expect that within the real world if in their most comfortable environment with their most comfortable people, they can't do it? So when we hear, what are they like at home? And these are questions we ask, we want to hear what those challenges may be, because that helps us gear into what those Ys are. So for AJ, he didn't have a lot of those other Ys, and he can be a conversational, engaging, initiative, elaborative, expressive guy, but not all kids can. So they may still lack some speech and language skills that need continued accommodations. That's not treatment didn't work. That's we helped him reach his capacity.
Right. And he still has those general anxieties. We're still pre-framing everything. We're still answering all of the what if questions that could possibly come out of his brain. It just more morphed into that general anxiety than that social piece stuff.
Right. No, that's good that you're able to see that. And hopefully he'll get some help for the generalized anxiety. Also, the more, you guys all know this, the smarter you are, the higher your IQ, the more you anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
You can touch on that.
Oh, absolutely. Struggling with SM back in 1985, there was no such thing. I had to figure out what worked for me without the luxury of any therapy resources. And I had to work very hard and throughout my life to overcome it. But that anxiety drives me to be successful. So I have gone over the years through college, medical school, adult and child psychiatry residency. Now I'm a chief medical officer for a local mental health authority in Texas, which is the third largest in Texas. So when I was a kid, I never would have thought I would be in this position now. So it does work, it does help, and you have to really work on it throughout the lifespan. It's not something that just goes away. But that anxiety, if you can channel it into a successful type of anxiety, it's very powerful.
Yeah, no, thank you. It really is. And that's why even when they're little, you look at, is there generalized anxiety? Are there specific phobias? And how can they cope? It's hard to say something's cured as much as I've learned coping skills to be able to combat
Absolutely.
the anxiety.
Yep.
And that's exactly what you're saying. And that's what we need to teach these kids.
Correct.
So the older they are, and here you are with a 12-year-old?
12-year-old, yes.
Yeah, I mean, 12-year-old isn't 3. As a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, parents are basically setting up the world, teachers are setting up the world, and the kids are playing games, and we know the play dates work and things like that. But when you're 12, and you just learned about this last year, you said, you're in a different situation. So tell us your thoughts.
And we went through all of the things. So before this diagnosis of SM, we went through, do we have slow processing? Do we have an intellectual disability? Do we have other things? Because it started out with, oh, I don't think this child can learn. Like in a school environment, she's not going to be able to learn. But it was more about making her that comfortable. And so now that we've had this diagnosis and working with you guys and bringing it to the school and having them start to embrace SM diagnosis and what that really means, because it's not about, her not talking, it's about her comfort level. So bringing that back to, hey, let's see about her warm-up time and looking at it differently has been huge. I mean, what you're saying about the flower, resonates with me, because I say to her all the time, I wish people could see this. Like when you're home and you're elaborative and goofy and having fun, and I wish people could see this in you.
Yeah, and if she can't do it, it makes her feel bad. So the good news is you're here and you're getting help. Look how much you're learning. These are the things we want to tell kids that, at camp when you're here is, I'm really excited. I'm learning a lot of ways, learning a lot of information in ways that I can help you. Instead of, we're here to get you to talk, and when you leave here, we traveled really far. I really need you to talk to your teachers and your friends. You know, one of the things I say often is we've got to eradicate the words you need to and you should. Because those you need to and you should is a way that you're pushing these kids back, causing more avoidance, more anxiety, and it just keeps perpetuating.
Yeah.
Because parents want, like, the term, as all of you know, I hate SM is the worst term. Social communication anxiety disorder makes the most sense. I mean, I don't know if in our lifetime it'll ever change because they're mute in certain situations, but it's a really lousy name for this. And being a psychiatrist, what's your thought on this?
So
I love that you're a psychiatrist, by the way. I have
Yes.
so many thoughts about things. Like, my mind's working, special ed. Like, there's so many things. Like, I'm hoping you guys get more passionate with your careers to be able to, what else can I do in that world of SM?
Yeah.
Because I'm a mom too. I'm sitting here, Dr. E, but my Sophie's at home, you know, she's thriving. She's older. She's totally great. But God, did I struggle and suffer with her as a little girl.
Yeah, and as a psychiatrist, in my career, I've only treated 2 kids with SM. And I was with a group practice at that time that was very great in the Houston area, and we were able to get them on the right track. However, most psychiatrists, they don't know much about it. They don't know how to treat it. And even your therapist out there, you send a kid and they sit in front of a therapist who doesn't really know how to engage this child. And it's a waste of time. The kid's not going to talk, and they stare at each other and draw some pictures. So it's, I've been on the receiving end from the school pressuring me to go to a referral place for therapy. And they said, we'll pay for it. And I said, no, I'm going to the experts. I'm going to the national experts in the country that know how to manage this and treat this and help my child develop those coping skills. So it has been a bit of a fight with our school, and me advocating as her parent, but also as a psychiatrist. And I know what's best for my child.